けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね Let's go! ネオンの絡む花踊る影揺れるステップ流されるままにはにかむ横顔に遠くで響く鼓動探すほど見失い溶けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね嘘でもいいからみんなないものねだりね Let's go!寂しげな言葉をつぶやく唇を音色と混ぜ合わせて消えてく人の波預ける指先に儚く揺れる光溶けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね嘘でもいいからみんなないものねだりね失われた声街に飲まれて霞んでいく笑顔遠くになる瞳曖昧な距離さえ甘くてほんの少しでもこの夜に酔わせて溶けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね嘘でもいいからみんなないものねだりね溶けてく夜明けにこれが最後の願いね嘘でもいいからみんなないものねだりね
Hello and welcome to stream number 7. We made it to stream number 7. Well, we hobbled to stream number 7 because stream number 7 was supposed to be last week, but then I pulled my back the morning I was supposed to stream, and I was like, okay, like I can sit down, so I could probably do it, but it was like, it hurt to move at all. Like maybe if I stayed still and just move my mouse, but like I really like to like use gestures, interact with you guys, and every little movement hurt. Even just like sitting down hurt a little bit. I didn't want to be like grimacing the whole time on camera, so delayed it that week, but we're here now and we've made it to stream number 7, hobbling along. So thank you guys for waiting. This one took a little extra time, so it feels like it's been a while, but thank you for your patience and understanding with me pulling my back suddenly. But yeah, like as we've been doing, let me fix this chat first because it seems to like to blow up as soon as I start here. I'm gonna refresh this. Boom, boom. Prioritize yourself. I appreciate that, Nub, and I appreciate all your words of support throughout my my tough time of my pulled back, as well as everyone else who left their warm words and support. Really means a lot. So yeah, now I'm doing much better. I can walk. I had to like hold onto my countertops to walk around before. It was not a good look. But now I can walk. I can even twist my torso. Look at that. So we're back here now. And yeah, so stream number 7, we're going to be doing this the same format that we've been doing. So 9 to 11 p.m. JST. First hour will be Japanese language related questions. And then the second hour will be life in Japan related questions. So let me get that cooking right now. So your questions here. Boom, boom. Put that in the chat and make that a pinned message. And I will also pop up that QR code on the screen. So you can either scan the QR code or you can click the posted link in chat and you can throw in your Japanese language related questions. For now, while you guys are getting your questions in, we can chill in the chat. Ooh, it's that time of the month again, huh? Yes, it is, Nora. Yes, it is. It is stream time. 2 times a month. Kind of low-key, only 1 time, I guess, this month so far because I pulled my back. But we made it. Yo, Tokuyuu. What is up, Deviants? Nice to see your face again. Asterisk, you know the basics. Don't know where to move for intermediate level. Any books or YouTube channels? I'm actually working on a video specifically for how to study for each level of Japanese. But if you want to get my recommendations in right now, feel free to ask a question in the Marshmallow, clicking the link. Nanabang. Yeah, PG, you got it. Nanabang. Also have that in the thumbnail as well. Just like to keep a little track of how far we've come. Pleasant weather as well, though. It might be a bit hot. So Spinum car, is that pleasant weather in Fukuoka? And congratulations on moving to Fukuoka. It sounds like you moved there recently. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I love Fukuoka. Such a nice city with the canal going through the middle. Canal City Mall as well blew my mind when I first went there, and like all the like yatai, the food stalls along the canal as well. Such a great vibe. And hope you have a great day too. Sazok, thank you for dropping by and congrats on coming on time. Hello, love from India. Thank you for the love from India. Oh, no, you didn't hear from... Yeah, I pulled my back. I made a post on my YouTube channel. I mean, the visibility on the post is kind of hit or miss, so if you don't see it, that's not really on you. But yeah, I pulled my back last week, but we're back now. And new to Japanese, can you give me some tips? Of course, that's what we're here for. Be sure to check out my videos as well if you're just an absolute beginner, because I have some good, I guess, starter tips for anyone who's starting out. Especially my Learn Japanese from Nothing video. But if you have any specific questions, feel free to ask them in the link or on the QR code. And without further ado, let me take a look at my inbox. See if we have any questions. We do. Okay, so first question, what do you mean by the relative words in kanji? So I would like a little bit more context on this question. If you are the one who asked this, please let me know what you mean by this. What do you mean? What do you mean by what I mean by the relative words in kanji? If you're referring to a specific video, then yeah, just let me know which video that is so I'll let you know. I'll move on to the next question. And if you are the asker of this question in chat, please just throw down your clarification. I can get to it. I have been studying the Kaishi 1.5K for about a week on Anki, but I have lost all motivation and just am not understanding anything. How do I get over this slump? So, by Kaishi 1.5K for a week on Anki. So by the Kaishi 1.5K, I'm assuming you mean like the first. So Kaishi means start. Kaishi. If we can... Let me just open up a little gshow.org tab. Kaishi. So I'm assuming that's what you mean by Kaishi. So Kaishi 1.5, so it's like the first 1.5K words, probably, vocab on Anki. Lost all motivation and am not understanding anything. How do I get over this slump? Yeah. So I mentioned in my How to Learn Japanese from Nothing video, specifically about this, that the beginning is honestly the toughest part. Because in the beginning, of course, you know nothing, right? And because you know nothing, you don't get to do any of the fun stuff, right? Like the listening to Japanese, speaking Japanese, reading Japanese, like all that, the fun stuff, like listening to anime or even just listening to simple podcasts or watching, you know, whatever and reading like manga. You can't do that because you have no knowledge, right? How can you practice? Like those reading, listening, speaking is like practical Japanese to practice what you know, but you don't get to do that if you don't know anything yet. So the beginning is the hardest part because you have to essentially just learn from nothing. And that requires you grinding out vocab decks, learning your kanji, learning hiragana and katakana, basic pronunciation, etc. Like all that boring stuff. So it's very understandable that you're in a slump and you're losing motivation to keep going. How to get over that slump? Well, first of all, you're saying, I'm just not understanding anything. So that sounds like there's an issue with potentially the way you're studying as well. So if, say you're going through those vocab cards and you feel like nothing's sticking, maybe dial it back a bit. Like if you're learning like 10 or 20 new words a day, you know, maybe that's okay for the first few days, but after a while, when you're adding the review cards in, you're going to be learning hundreds of new words a day and like reviews included. And that's just like way too much. Maybe dial that back. Maybe try just learning 2 or 3 words a day and then slowly build up from there. If it's still not sticking, I would try to change your tactic of how to remember words, like maybe create mnemonics, right? So like it's difficult in the beginning, but I'm going to cover this in a new video. But basically like mnemonics. I learned what a mnemonic was when I first started learning Japanese. Did not know what this meant. But it's basically a memory technique. And it can be very silly. It can be literally anything you want it to be. So say, for example, you're trying to learn the word arau. Okay? Arau. Which is to wash. Okay? So when you're in the beginning, you know nothing, right? So this will just arau will just look like a random combination of letters, right? When you start getting to the intermediate and advanced levels, learning new vocabs gets easier. Like the word araidasu. This is also a word. It's just like to wring out, essentially. Araidasu. To wring out. But the easy thing about being intermediate advanced is that araidasu is just a combination of arau, like to wash, and dasu, to bring out. It's literally like to wash out. So picking up vocab later on is easier because you already have this base of knowledge, but doing it in the beginning is tough because you know absolutely nothing. So arau is just like a random jumble of words. So in this case, I recommend using mnemonics. What is a mnemonic? So for example, arau, arau. So in case you can't read hiragana yet, but you should be able to read it if you're already studying vocab. But that's how you would write it out in English letters, arau. I would say arau sounds like the word allow, right? Arau, allow. So because it sounds like the word allow, I would create a mnemonic. So it means to wash. Okay, something that sounds like allow but means to wash. Okay, let's create a little story here. Even though I'm allowed to wash the dishes, I don't want to. It's getting a little tight over here, so let's try to create some space. Allow. So equals allow. Okay, so this is the mnemonic essentially. Let me try to make that even a bit bigger just so you can see it. So mnemonics equals memory technique, and we can say like that. Okay, so the key here is that so allow sounds like allow, so allowed, and it means to wash. So wash the dishes. So even though I'm allowed to wash the dishes, I don't want to. And that makes it a little bit easier to recall your new vocab, because when you see the word arau, it's no longer just a random jumble of words like arau. Like, sure, you can like repeat it to yourself over and over again, like, okay, arau, to wash, arau, to wash, arau, to wash, and try to like force yourself to remember. But when you have like 100 words to learn, like you're just gonna forget it. But if you have this mnemonic, okay, arau, you say you're tested like a week later, arau. Okay, what was that again? Okay, it sounds like allow. What was my story again? Allowed to wash the dishes. Okay, to wash, it means to wash. And that helps you create that initial connection of the word and its meaning in your mind. And then over time, as you get more used to seeing the word, you'll forget your mnemonic and you'll just naturally learn that word. So yeah, if you're finding that the vocab's not sticking, try new memory techniques. And like I mentioned earlier, if it still feels like too much, try dialing back the number of vocab you're learning every day. That would be my advice. Hey, how's the back, my guy? It is doing better. Thank you, Benji West, my beautiful, beautiful mod. I can now stretch around. We got nearly full range of movement. So we're doing better, thank you. Just started taking interest in learning Japanese. Love your videos. Thank you, Furry Lock-In. Fury Lock-In. Didn't mean to accuse you of being a furry. My apologies. Fury Lock-In. I need to lock in. 日本語でのあなたのレベルは N1 です. Since I watched so much anime as a kid, I already knew like 150 words when I started from unintentionally matching the sound to the subtitles. Starter pack. Yeah, for sure. P-June, like that's definitely a bonus. Like if you're really like diligent while you're watching your anime, even if you weren't trying to learn Japanese, you'll just naturally pick stuff up like One-san or Oni-san or like Yamete or like Ikuyo. Like these really basic words, and that's like it's a bonus. Like 150 words. Sure, you want to learn like a lot more when you actually try to become fluent in the language, but that kind of starter pack is like a great place to start to get the ball rolling. Again, like the more vocab you know in Japanese, the easier it is to create these mnemonics as well. So definitely a little extra boost. That's quite a long mnemonic. Really? I mean, I always make these kind of like single sentence mnemonics. I find if it's just like 2 words, it's kind of hard to like just make everything fit in such a short space of time. But if you had like a better idea, then I'd love to hear it, like how you do it, like in a shorter sentence. P-June finds that mnemonics don't really stick for him, and that's totally fair. Like again, this is just a technique that you could leverage if it works for you. I found that it did work for me. For other things, sure, I'd just kind of naturally pick it up. Okay, and that was to wash. But, you know, sometimes it just really doesn't stick. And in those cases, like I really lean on mnemonics to help it click in. Neat Japanese handwriting. Good job. Yeah. No one tell him that it's just like the type function. It's literally just I type it in and it makes it look pretty, but no one say that. All right, next question. And it looks like we still don't have a clarification for the previous question as to relative words in kanji, so we'll keep moving on. All right, next question. 大変 versus 難しい. And they both kind of mean difficult. Yeah, good question, and very easily confusable, I'd say. Let's full screen this. Create us a little box to work with here. So, 大変. Yeah, I'll try to include the reading when I can. Here, let's try zooming in a little bit more so we get the full screen here. 大変 and 難しい. Okay. And just to make this very clear, versus. So what's the difference here? So they both essentially mean difficult. Okay, so that's the confusing part. Ju. Okay, so 大変 is more like yeah, they can be similar, but I would say 大変 is also includes emotionally difficult or trying. Emotionally difficult or trying. And I would say 難しい is just objectively difficult. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. 大変 objectively difficult. 大変 yeah, I would say they could both be objectively difficult. So I'd say that's where the overlap happens. Like you could say learning kanji is difficult. So 漢字を覚えるのが大変 or 漢字を覚えるのが難しい. So they can both mean objectively difficult there. It's hard to learn kanji. But if you were to say like so 漢字を覚えるのが So this can be both. So 漢字を覚えるのが it can be that or it can be that. But if you were to say something more like okay, let's just say that. 分かれるのが大変. Okay, so 分かれる. So 分かれる literally means to break up. Let's just get this guy here. Yeah, if you want to know what my real Japanese handwriting looks like, it's this. All right, so 分かれるのが大変 versus, this is actually a good comparison here. 分かれるのが難しい. So this is where you could really see the differences. So 分かれるのが大変. It's like breaking up is emotionally difficult. Like it sucks. 別れるのが大変だね. Like, it sucks. Whereas 別れるのが難しい. It sounds like it's pretty much the same feeling. Like it's showing like there's difficulty involved with breaking up. But 別れるのが難しい is more like it's difficult. It's literally difficult to break up. You know, probably because there's like emotional attachment and whatever, but it's physically difficult. Whereas 大変 is more like it sucks. Like that's tough, bro. Like that sucks. That's what I would say the difference is between 大変 and 難しい. So they can both mean like objectively difficult, but 大変 also includes like emotionally trying or difficult. Good spelling. Oh no, Ramen the animator found out that my my handwriting is terrible. Oh well, it was bound to happen eventually. Good explanation, thanks. Thank you, I appreciate it, Deviant. Join the stream. Wait, who broke up? The words taihen and muzkashi broke up because we are separating them in whoever asked this question, separating them in their mind so it makes more sense as to what the difference is. Yeah, someone asked what the difference was. 恋愛って面倒よね。まあね。まあね。面倒. It is a little 面倒, a little difficult, a little 面倒. How would you translate that? A little, like a handful, you could say. But 恋愛 is also, you know, there's a lot of fun as well. So it's the polarity. 説明すると大変だね. Exactly. All right, great question. Thank you for the awesome question. All right, next one. Let me just a little bit longer, so I need to increase the window so I can see it all. So hi, what do native Japanese people call you or foreigners who come to Japan? Specifically when you first meet someone and get to know them. Is it first name plus sang? What is your foreign last name? What is your foreign last name is difficult, etc. Also, what's the most goated form of immersion media in your experience? Thanks. All right, let's break down this question. So what do native people call you foreigners who come to Japan? Specifically when you first meet someone to get to know them. Yeah, it can kind of go both ways. They can either just call you by your first name plus sang or your last name plus sang. So normally in Japan, if they meet a Japanese person, it'll always be last name plus sang. So if they're, again, Tanaka Yuji, it'll be Tanaka-san. But sometimes with foreigners, say like if your name is like John Smith, I don't know, like it would be literally like John Smith. I guess let's just Smith John-san, right? So let's pretend your name is John Smith. You have the most basic name in all of existence. You are the example in all textbooks. You are John Smith, okay? What do Japanese people call you? So most of the time they'll just say Smith-san. So they will just, like you're a Japanese person, last name plus san, Smith-san. But I do find sometimes they'll just call me like my first name. So it'd be like John-san. And I'm not sure if this is on purpose or not, because it might just be like, right, like in English, or I guess most Western languages, it's John Smith, right? First name, last name. But in Japanese, it would be Smith John. So since I write my name, last name, first name, so Smith John, maybe they assume I'm just writing first name, last name as if it's English, right? So John Smith. So they'd say like, oh, okay, so he's writing it like John Smith. So that means his last name must be the one that comes second. And that's why they call me, in this case, John. It might be that reason, or it might be on purpose because they know I'm like a foreigner, so it's cooler. It's like I'm cool with being called by my first name, but either way, it'll still be sound. And what if your foreign last name is difficult? Like if your last name is just like freaking like extracalifragilisticexpialidocious, like you can just say like, you can say like your nickname. So you can say like, okay, your actual full name, last name, first name. And then you could say, okay, but you can call me this, like da-da-da-da yonde kudasai. So say your last name was, I don't even know what's a difficult last name. Let's say it's like something crazy. It's like, I don't even know what's a hard name. Say it's like Johnson Miku Jansan. Okay, so imagine your name is Johnson McJansen. So your last name is Johnson McJansen, and say your first name is just like John. That's really confusing. Okay, let's just say it's Jack. So your first name is Jack. Okay, so let's say your last name is very confusing. It's Johnson Mick Jackson. Jansen. Even I'm getting confused here. Johnson Miku Jansan. And then your first name is Jack. So you can introduce, so normally you would introduce yourself properly. Like you would say the full last name and first name. Okay, so you'd be like, Johnson Miku Jansan Jack desu. But then you could say, like, na maru maru. So this is how Japanese people put in like a blank space, by the way. O yonde kudasai. Kudasai. So maru maru o yonde kudasai. So you say like, this is my name, but just call me whatever you want to be called. So you can just say Jack in this case. So Jack or Jong if like you're just shortening your last name. Jong o yonde kudasai. And then they'll be like, okay, Jon-san or Jack-san. That's what I would do. Just introduce your full name properly and then just tell them what you'd prefer to be called by or what you think would be an easier way to be called. Gaijin-san. Hi, I'm getting to kanji book soon. Yay. Gaijin-san is classic. Like the literal name just being Gaijin. Or Gaijin-san, like that's what they're called. Yeah. Gaijin-san, it's like Gaikoku. I also hear Gaikoku no kata, which is like, I guess, the most polite. But Gaijin-san, it's like a slur and you're just adding san. So it's like, I'm not sure if I'm being insulted right now. It's like, I don't even know. Gaijin-san. It's like omae-san. It's like omae is like a derogatory way of saying you, but then you add sound, so it's like, should I be offended right now? But when people say gaijin-san, they don't mean offense for sure. Sound. All right, let's refresh our inbox here. All right. Okay, so we got the follow-up question that we've been looking for. So this is built off the first question. So just to clarify from the first question, I'm talking about your first vid. You said how you studied kanji and you said you wrote the relative words that use that kanji in hiragana. What do you mean by that? Okay, good question. So if we go to my YouTube video, so let's say Tokuyuu kanji. Hey, look, it's this live. Let's watch right now. Let's watch me watching this live. Okay, so I mention it here. Okay, so let me just turn off this volume because it's very loud. Okay, so I write. Okay, hurry up, bro. Okay, actually, it's probably earlier. Yeah, there it is. Okay. That's it right there. And thank you, Sizzled Pastor. Hopefully, I definitely did not pronounce it right. But thank you so much for becoming a member, a Sakura supporter. Appreciate the love. Let me know if you have any questions. But welcome to the membership and enjoy your emotes. So anyway, so what do I mean by writing the kanji and writing down the relative words? So it's literally as it is right here. So the kanji here is kai. It's this one right here that I wrote in this separate piece of paper. Kai. And the relative words are these ones next to the squiggly bracket. Okay, so you could say the main one here is ao. Ao. So this kanji is in the word ao, and I underline the hiragana letter that it represents. So normally it would be written like this. That's the wrong one. This. Ao. Hey, Indie Turkey. Thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate it. Enjoy the emotes. So normally out with this kanji is written like this. But instead of writing down the kanji, I just write down the words in hiragana. So out. And I just underline where that kanji represents. And then I write down the relative words. So what that means is I write down the words that have that kanji and are commonly used. So in this case, shakai is the one above that, which means society. Then kaigi, which is meeting. And then kaisha, which is company. So I write those all down. So this is extra. So I'm learning kanji here. The point is I'm learning kanji. But I write down all those words because it's also bonus vocab review, right? Knowing all those common words associated with the kanji not only helps me learn the kanji and understand which context it's used in, but it gives me extra review on what vocab exists and what it means. So again, so I'll write down those relative words related to that kanji in hiragana. And once I write them down in hiragana, on a separate piece of paper, I'll try writing the kanji from memory. Okay, kaisha. Okay, it's the kanji that's used in kaisha, kaigi, shakai. Oh, okay, what one was that again? And I'll like try to remember. Okay, and then I'll write it down, which is what I'm doing on this second separate piece of paper here. That's what I mean by writing down the relative words. And I do this for every kanji I learn. And I write it in hiragana, so I don't cheat. Because if I wrote this all in kanji, when I try to like write the kanji from memory, I would have already read it. So I've kind of like looked at the answer. So that's why I write it in hiragana. And then I, on a separate piece of paper, write it down in kanji if I can remember it from memory. So that's what I mean. So hopefully that makes sense to you. And Indy, Turkey, thank you for gifting a membership. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. And congratulations to Everything Anime Lover. Congrats on your gifted membership and enjoy your emotes. You've been sticking around long in the chat, so the RNG gods have blessed you with a membership. RNG gods and Indie Turkey. Entrepreneur in Japan, that's pretty cool. Rorabek. What is up, Kaylin Rorabek-san? Thank you for joining the chat. Always good to see your face. And Indie Turkey with another gifted membership. Thank you so much. Really flexing that entrepreneur in Japan money. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And congrats to Shashank on your gifted membership. When can we add more emotes? That's a good question. I looked at it before we started streaming. I could look at it right now if we want to figure out how many memberships we are away from the next added emote. So I go here. I think it should be around like, I want to say 10 to 15 or so. Okay, memberships, badges and emotes. Emotes. We are 9 members away from getting our 13th emote. So that'll be our next goal. 9 more memberships. So we'll see if we can do it and add another emote. All right, so hopefully that answered your question, whoever asked this. Let me know if there's any further clarification needed, but if not, we'll move on to the next one. All right, which one to prioritize? Learning vocab directly or starting with kanji after kana and grammar? Good question. So again, I am working on a video where I will fully go over how to learn Japanese, like from zero all the way to as close to native-like natural fluency as possible. And I'll talk about what order you should study and what resources and how you should study each level. But just to give you my best answer right now, which one you should prioritize after kana and grammar. So yes, learn the kana first, of course, hiragana, katakana, and the pronunciation. Grammar, vocab, and kanji, I think you should just study at the same time. If I had to pick one, learn the grammar first, just like a little bit of grammar, like a chapter of grammar, and that'll just give you a little bit of context on, how Japanese works. But ultimately, I would do them all at the same time. Grammar, vocab, kanji. So read a chapter of grammar. And if you're doing a textbook, they'll break it up like this. Like you'll have a chapter of grammar. And in that chapter, they'll say, okay, for this chapter, we want you to know these words. So then you'll learn those vocab and you'll study them, review. And we also want you to know these kanji. Okay, study those, review, while you're learning the grammar throughout the chapter. So they kind of go hand in hand. And a good textbook will have you doing all three at the same time. And as they're teaching you the grammar, having you do example sentences, they'll incorporate those vocab and kanji that they said they wanted you to learn while you're learning the grammar. So they just kind of go hand in hand. And like what I just talked about on screen here, where I'm learning the kanji, this is about learning kanji, but I'm writing down all the relevant words. Even though I don't need to, I'm writing down all the relevant words related to that kanji, because knowing the relevant words helps me remember that kanji better. And while I'm remembering that kanji better, I'm reviewing these vocab, or I'm learning new ones. Like, they just go hand in hand. You really shouldn't separate vocab from kanji and kanji from vocab, in my opinion. Like, they just go together. And then the grammar is what just makes the whole context of Japanese make sense, right? Because it explains why word order is the way it is and how sentences are structured and all that. So again, you can't, like, there's no point learning a bunch of vocab and a bunch of kanji. Like, it's great that you have all that content knowledge, but if you don't know the grammar, you can't make sentences because you don't know where to put those words, right? So they all go hand in hand. So I do them all together. Yeah, Take Him's Guide to Grammar teaches you vocab and the grammar at the same time. 100%. Yeah, good point, Aika. Yeah, like that's why I really love Take Him's Guide, and it's one of the resources I recommend in my videos all the time, is that they do that. They explain the grammar in such a logical way, and they'll, again, like the textbook example I just said, they'll teach you, they'll say, okay, learn this vocab and learn this kanji associated with it. And it's just like you learn them all together. Hey, I do have a question. I'm born in Germany and my mom is Turkish, dad is Ukrainian and Russian, and I'm all of them. Would I get any advantages more than work, etc.? Right. Would you get any advantages like for learning Japanese? I'm assuming you mean. I mean, if you can speak, like, clearly you can speak English. If you can speak German or like Turkish or like, you know, Ukrainian and Russian as well, or like, you know, a couple of those languages, I would say that is an advantage. I think knowing multiple languages gives you an advantage to understanding how different languages work. In terms of Japanese, I would say knowing Chinese or Korean are the best languages to know before learning Japanese, because with Chinese, you already know all the characters essentially. Yeah, the readings are a bit different and you're gonna have to still learn the grammar, but basically knowing all the characters already is just such a massive advantage that other speakers don't have, including me and probably you as well. Korean is an advantage because even though they don't have the Chinese characters, the grammar is basically the same as Japanese. Like, the word order is essentially the same, and even some words are the exact same as well. Like, did you know 30分無料マッサージ means the same thing in Japanese and Korean? 30-minute free massage. Don't ask me why, but 30-minute free massage means the same thing in Japanese and Korean. And also, なんだっけ? 微妙三角関係. Literally like a uncomfortable three-way relationship. Essentially, love triangle. That's the word. Uncomfortable love triangle. That is also the same in Korean and Japanese. And there's a lot of examples of overlap between Japanese and Korean in this sense. So if you know Korean or Chinese, massive advantage. Everything else is like more distant from Japanese. So all the languages that you potentially know might not give you an advantage there. But just knowing that other languages work differently from English, like I was like a monolingual English speaker. So just anything that like wasn't the same word order as English confused me. Anything that was different from English just confused me. So if you already have that like flexibility, that will help you. And you know Japanese at the N2 level, so you're doing fine. You don't need my reassurance. You're good. You're doing good. Just keep up the good work. And like whatever got you to N2, just keep studying and, you know, get that to like N1 level. You're just flexing on us, Indy. but good job. Keep up the good work. All right. Next question. What kanji is the hardest to learn? I mean, that's hard to say, but like, obviously the famous one is the one in Utsubyo. When you type in Utsubyo, they even like the first, oh, you don't see it come up, but like the first option they give you on the keyboard is this. Like the kanji is the one that represents Utsu, but the keyboard just says, did you mean this? They don't even want to write it, but we are going to force them to write it. So Utsubyo. So Utsubyo means depression. Fun topic. Utsubyo. So that kanji right there. Look at that. Look at that beautiful, beautiful kanji. Imagine writing that. So it's, you know, tree. You got a can there. You get another tree. And then you get a little crown. And then there's just like a whole lot of shenanigans down here. Like, I actually wrote this kanji probably like 20 times, maybe more, when I was learning it, because I did that with all the kanji. It's hard to read, you know, it's a lot of strokes. How many strokes is this? Utsubyo. Again, they just don't show it because it's just such a long kanji. So we click on 29 strokes. There you go. 29 strokes. So 29 strokes of fun in this kanji. Yeah, so I'd say like it's hard to learn just because it's really long. You knew it. Aikanu. But there are ways. It's crazy. But if you get good, I mean, this is an N1 kanji, by the way, so you won't need to worry about this for a while. But as you learn more kanji, you will find ways to make mnemonics. Like a commenter, like in this first video I made, I talk about this kanji exactly right here. Right? Because like I'm talking about, okay, you can use mnemonics to remember kanji. Like this one, you know, to mean clear, it's just day on the left and blue on the right. So it's just like, okay, if the day is clear, or sorry, if the day is blue, then it's clear out. And it makes sense. But then like you get like these stupid kanji, which is just like, you don't have no idea what's going on here and you just kind of have to remember it. But when I made this video, I actually got a commenter saying that there is a mnemonic to remember this kanji. And I was impressed. It's not easy, but essentially you're just breaking down all the parts. Like it was something to do with like, I don't even know. It's like Lincoln wears a crown. It's convoluted, don't get me wrong. Cup of rice, you know, I'm not gonna try to like recite you the whole thing, but you read this. Okay, Lincoln wears a crown, has a cup of rice. Okay, like where does that come from? So first of all, the kanji hayashi, which means woods. Maybe you know this one. It's basically, it's just the kanji for a tree, but twice. So the kanji for tree, but twice, is pronounced hayashi, or so it can be pronounced hayashi or din. So if you say din, you're referring to like this kanji of two trees, and there's two trees here. Okay, din. And then what did I say this one in the middle was? It's a can, and can in Japanese is also pronounced kang. So then, okay, you say din kang, which sounds like Lincoln. Okay, din kang, so two trees, right? It has two trees and the can in the middle. Okay, and then you say wears a crown. Okay, Lincoln wears a crown, and then you, after a while of studying, you'll know that this is the radical for crown. It kind of looks like a crown, like it's a little hat. So you just remember, okay, that's a crown. Okay, so Lincoln, which is the ding, and Kang, okay, where's the crown? And then cup of rice. You'll know that this one here is actually the radical for rice. You know, the kome is rice, and this is what the kanji looks like. It looks a little bit different, but when it's written as a radical in kanji, it looks like this. And then this one underneath it is a cup of rice. And like it's a convoluted story, But there are ways of making these mnemonics with even as convoluted of a kanji as this. And you think like, hey, this Lincoln wears a crown, cup of rice, and then whatever else, you know, the other ones are. You think it's like, there's no way that helps. It helps. Because like, once you just remember what parts exist, it's easier to remember, okay, right, it was tree, and then it was can, and then it was tree. Okay, then yeah, okay, so there's a crown, and then it was, right, there's rice there and a cup. It becomes a lot easier to pull it out from your memory, as opposed to just out of the blue. Like, you just gotta be like, okay, this kanji has these parts and this parts and these parts. Like, it starts to create like reason out of the void of nothingness. But yes, it's a hard kanji to learn, but even the hardest kanji to learn, there are ways to remember it. But I wouldn't worry about this, like, unless you're an N1 level, don't worry about this kanji. But it just goes to show, like, as you learn kanji, you get better at learning more kanji, because the advanced kanji are just combinations of the basic kanji. And then you'll learn the radicals, and that also helps. Oh, found in Japan. Yeah, that's the kind of a crazy kanji as well. What the heck is that? That's ridiculous. Is that even Japanese? That looks like ancient Chinese dude was like drinking way too much sake or something. Yeah, it's not even in Jisho. Jeez, I'm surprised my computer can even type that. I feel like my computer is gonna like crash just trying to type that. That is absurd. Holy moly. Thank you. That's an interesting one. I can finally start kanji because you answered my question. Yahoo! Glad I could help, Ramen. I feel like the kanji that are similar to each other are harder to distinguish from each other, no? Yeah, it can definitely be the case. Like I mentioned in a previous video, like mere and ima, right? Like these two. They can be a little bit tricky to remember, but again, like as you get better at learning kanji, if you really learn the radicals and if you really take the time to write them out, you'll notice the differences. Like the one in de, like there's this stick at the end, and this whole part here is katakana ma, right? It's the letter for katakana ma. And you'll know, okay, if you just like associate de with the katakana ma, you know that it's not this one, it's this one. So yeah, it can be tricky, but that's why I really recommend writing kanji, because it helps you really appreciate the little differences. Yeah, back from the, what is that? Is it Daiokuba? Daiokujo? Back from the Daiokujo, and the first thing I see is depression. Yeah, well, welcome back, Nora. We're learning about depression here, but only in an educational sense about its spelling. Clinical depression, you're gonna have to ask a professional. You know, maybe if we get Bianca back in the chat, because she's doing her master's in psychiatry. How do you say that in English? Psychiatry. That's how it is. It's like psychiatrics, psychiatry. I'm here to teach Japanese, not English. Tactical Cookie, yes. If you had a question, yeah, be sure to put it in the marshmallow, and hopefully I can get to it. Biam biam man. Oh, it's a type of noodle, a type of fat noodle. You can buy them in instant types in the store. Do they actually write that on the package? Like, that's ridiculous. Especially if it's mainland China, because they use simplified kanji now. So I'm surprised if that hasn't been simplified. Like, did you know? So like mainland Japan. So in Japanese, the word for love is ai, and this is the kanji. And one of the radicals in the kanji is right here. It's kokoro, which means heart. You know, it makes sense, right? Kokoro, right? Kokoro, because when you're talking about love, why would there not be heart in it? Makes sense. But in simplified Chinese, ai. Yeah, this is how it's written. Okay, look at this. Oh, okay, it doesn't let me paste it. maybe it... Oh no, I've just copied the wrong one. Boop. There we go. Simplified Chinese. Do you see anything missing here? When they simplified the character, they took out the one that means heart. Literally nothing else means, like, okay, this one means friend, I guess. Like, yeah, you could argue that kind of has something to do with love, but then it's just like random strokes here. Again, it's like the one for crown. Like, why do you need that in the word love? They literally took out the most important one. They're like, hey, we need to simplify our characters so it takes less strokes so we can write it faster. So the word for love, we'll just take out the heart. That's the one you should have left in. That's the one part you should have left in. But when you write instant noodles, you're writing this like 50 stroke monster. Like, you couldn't simplify this one. You were willing to take the heart radical out of love, but not simplify an instant noodle package. That cracks me up. Yeah. Oh, you're right. They did put in the friend, because before it's just this, which is I guess it's a little different from mata. That's slightly different from mata. I'm not sure what that one is actually, but they kind of like added that stroke, right? The two strokes here to make it look like friend. So what was the point? They took out heart, but then they added more anyways. Like, what were they cooking with that one? I don't know. Yeah, that's silly. A good example. Thank you. Okay. Best app to learn Japanese for beginners. I'll give you a hint. It's not Duolingo. Please, if you have Duolingo on your phone to learn Japanese, delete it. Get rid of it. You don't need it. Maybe I've heard it's okay for the kana. Maybe there's better ways to learn the kana. Just delete it. I would say the best app is Japanese kanji study app. Japanese kanji study app. But this guy right here, you see this one? Japanese kanji study. Beautiful app. Only problem is it's only for Android. If you try looking for it in iOS store, there'll be something that is kind of similar. It'll sound like Japanese kanji study and it'll kind of look like this, but it's just not the same app. Rest in peace. I also have an iPhone now, so I can't even use it anymore. But I used to have an Android, and this app is goated. I mentioned it again in this video. This is literally what I'm using right here. Like, it has all the kanji, all like 2,100 plus kanji from N5 to N1, and it has all the common words. How do we... Yeah, here it is. So you saw that screen with the kanji. If you just like swipe down, I think it was, then it shows you right here all the common words that use it. Okay, so I'm looking up this kanji for... Actually, I think I specifically... Yeah, so that's the screen that shows the kanji. You swipe, okay, swipe down, and then you can look at the common words that use it, okay? So there's to speak. There's the word, literally the word language or word. There's like a single word or a few phrases. Language. Like, it's so good. Like, it's all the kanji you ever need to know. You just swipe down and it has all the relevant words and their JLPT level. It's kind of hard to see here, but this right here says N5. And then this number is just like maybe the number of example sentences it's used in their database. So the higher the number, the more likely that it's a common word. But they organize it all for you there. So you can know, okay, maybe I'm still learning N5, so maybe I don't need to worry about the N3, vocab right now. It organizes that all for you, and there's just no other app that does it this well. And this app is also good for learning hiragana and katakana. So if that was your one argument for keeping Duolingo, delete it if you have Android. Unfortunately, this is the only app I would recommend at this point, other than like dictionary apps. And this is only for learning kanji and kana for the most part. You can kind of use it to learn vocab related to kanji, but that's about it. There's no app that's going to teach you all of Japanese. I'll just say that right now. There's no app that will teach you all of Japanese. I know it's tempting to use Duolingo or Lingo Deer or like whatever app is out there and say like, okay, I just need to progress through the levels and I'll learn vocab, I'll learn kanji, I'll learn grammar, listening, speaking, reading. No, there's no app. There is no app that will teach you everything about Japanese. Kanji Study app is great for kanji. It's a 10 out of 10 for kanji, but unfortunately, it doesn't teach you anything else other than the kana and some vocab. You'll have to use other resources, and I mentioned what those other resources are in my other videos, and I will again summarize it all in a new video coming up on how to learn Japanese essentially from 0 to fluent. But you're gonna have to wait for that one. What about AirLearn? I found it really good for grammar. I'd have to double check that. But my impression of AirLearn is that it could be pretty similar to Duolingo. I'll take a closer look. But their marketing is goated. I love the blue cat. They're hilarious. N1, but downloading it right now. My kanji has seen better days. Yeah, Nora, 100%. If you have Android. Yeah, I love this app. I swear by this app for sure. And I think there's like a flashcard function as well you can do if you want to, like, again, review it periodically. You can like write them from memory. It'll like test you on that. Just such a goated app for kanji. Would recommend. Indie Turkey wrote a message in Japanese. はじめまして、トルコのデミルです。お日本語の N に思ってるんですけど、まだまだ簡単な会話ができるレベルです。わら。将来日本に住みたくて配信見てます。みんなよろしくね。Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's a pretty solid sentence. You might not have need the 日本語の N に思ってるんですけど。But I mean, that can just be like your own kind of style. So that's fine to keep in as well. Overall, yeah, good sentence. Keep up the good work. Glad Benji told me about your channel. Good luck. Got to get the kids to bed, then ofuro time. Thank you. Thanks for checking it out. I'm flattered that Benji told you to check me out. Thanks for checking it out, and thanks for dropping your knowledge of that fun kanji as well. Good luck getting the kids to bed and have a nice bath. Yeah, Duolingo does have an anime now. That is like blowing my mind. But their marketing is goated. Cannot argue with that. When will your next video come? So right now, so I said I'm working on that video of like how to learn all of Japanese essentially. I have another video coming out before that. That's pretty much done. I'm just waiting for a sponsor to give me the materials that I need to make the little insert for them. And then once I make that, boom, we're launching it. So it really depends on them. It was also on me. Like I should have reached out to them sooner. I kind of reached out to them very late stage in making that video. So the slow communication has just like really like slowed down that upload. But as soon as we get that last bit going, the next episode should be out very soon. So stay tuned, and thanks for being patient. And can you make a video about giving N5, N1 exams, the process and how to stay calm under pressure? I actually did think of making a video on how to do the JLPT exams. So yeah, glad to know that it's something that you'd be interested in watching. And yeah, I can definitely make a video like that in the future. Thank you for voicing your opinion. All right, we got 1 minute left in our Japanese related questions. We'll try to get through a couple more. How to think in Japanese. My best advice for thinking in Japanese is to talk to yourself in Japanese. Talk to yourself in Japanese. So when you're alone, I like to talk to myself when I'm alone, even in English. Like if I see something funny, I'll just say like, oh, that's funny out loud by myself in a room. No one else can hear me. Or if I'm trying to think, I'll just be thinking out loud in English. Try doing that in Japanese. Like, it really forces you to formulate sentences in Japanese while there's no pressure. And that's great. Like, speaking and doing conversation practice is great. But the problem with that is that there's a lot of pressure just to keep the conversation going. right? Because you're like, hey, what are they saying? I'm really listening to what they're saying. Okay, now they've said it. Okay, now it's my turn to speak. Okay, let me just get my point across without fumbling the bag, you know? And you're not worrying about how to create good sentences. You're just trying to get the point across so that their conversation can keep flowing. But the good thing about just speaking to yourself when you're alone is that there's none of that conversational pressure to like respond right away. You can take the time to look at something like, hey, okay, the monitor in front of me is very bright. Okay, how would I say that? Okay, monitor, monitor, and then, okay, bright is akarui. Okay, or no, there's a better one. It's mabushi. Mabushi is like it's bright. Okay, yeah. So monitor ga mabushi. Monitor ga mabushi ne. And then you can just repeat it to yourself a couple times. And doing that is just, it's great practice. Like, there's no pressure. You're allowed to screw up. You can like think on what the better word is to use, because you don't have time to really do that when you're talking live. So yeah, I think that's the first step. You know, it's hard to like totally just transform all your internal thoughts from your native language to a second language, because of course your native language is almost always going to be the most comfortable language. But I would say the first step in doing that is to manually change your out loud thoughts and make that Japanese. That's what I like doing, and I still do that today. I honestly should do it more, and I think it would help make some of my sentences even more automatic and help me really consolidate new words that I'm learning every day. Like even at this stage, I'm still learning new words, and I'm still working on better ways to say things, funnier way to say things, more accurate ways to say things. And I think speaking to myself and kind of imagining situations or describing the situation in front of me is a great way to do it. Would recommend. You need to breathe, eat, live Japanese. Yeah. I mean, if you can, like there's AJAT, right? AJAT, which is all Japanese all the time. And that is literally what you're just saying right there. You need to breathe, eat, live Japanese. So you just like, you change your computer settings to Japanese. You would, okay, if you're watching a YouTube video, make sure it's in Japanese. Okay, like you like watching sports, okay, watch with the Japanese commentators. And like you're playing video games, okay, switch all the languages to Japanese. And if you're reading the news, read in Japanese. And yeah, it's effective because you're just like, you have to see it all the time, and your brain really needs to adapt. It can be tough because like everything gets slowed down, right? Like, you know, assuming you're still learning Japanese, you know, reading the news in Japanese is going to slow you down, right? Like you can't just skim through an article in like 2 minutes and get everything. It's probably going to take you like 10 minutes maybe to go through that same article, because there's a bunch of kanji and vocab you don't know. And the same thing for everything. Computer settings. Okay, something went wrong. I got to search my settings. Okay, what is the word for like display system? Display. Okay. And then what's like sleep function? Like everything gets slowed down, and it can be really frustrating. So you do need to have a lot of patience if you use the AJAT method, but if you stick to it, it's really effective. But I like to do like a selective AJAT hybrid mix. Like my computer settings are in English because like I cannot be asked to like fix my already frustrating computer problems in Japanese when like I'm watching tutorials in English, because most of the tutorials are made in English. And then like I have to translate that into Japanese and figure out what the Japanese word for the setting is. And it's just like, I don't have time for that. So I like to keep some things in English, but yeah, I play video games in Japanese, and I like to watch most of my YouTube videos in Japanese as extra practice, etc., etc. So if you can't stand like a full AJAT method like me, try a hybrid method. And again, talk to yourself in Japanese. It's another aspect of AJAT, you could say. But yeah, good input. Appreciate that. If you have time for one more question, love you to read the N5 question. If you don't, it's fine. I'll come back next stream. Yeah, there's a lot of questions, thankfully and unfortunately. It's kind of hard to find, but yeah, again, check out my video on how to learn from nothing. Maybe I answer your question there, and for sure, feel free to like drop it again next stream as well, and I can get to it. But it is already 10:04, so we shall be moving to our next topic, which is life in Japan. So if you have any life in Japan related questions, here, let me switch this back so you're in this room with me. If you have any life in Japan related questions, feel free to drop them in the chat using the pinned comment or the QR code on the screen. Let's start with this beautiful one. Hello, I am your subscriber. Period. That's it. Thank you. Hello. Hello to you too. And thanks for being my subscriber. Appreciate the support. I read that. I thought that was really funny. Can I marry you real quick for PR? I promise to divorce you after. That is a tempting offer. You just have to know that if you do marry for PR, you know, like I mentioned in this video, you know, PR in Japan. This beautiful video made by this handsome YouTuber. Don't know his name. Is, you know, objectively speaking, very handsome. So if you, one way of getting PR is to marry a Japanese person or PR holder. The catch is that you need to be together for 3 years. You need to be living in Japan for at least 1 year and have been married for at least 3 years. So the problem is, you promised to divorce me after, but we still got to be together for 3 years before you can apply. And then, you know, you have all the application time, submission time. So probably more like 4 years, you know? Are we willing to commit to that? You know, viewer who I don't know the name of. I don't know if we're ready for that. But if, you know, if you have a more tantalizing offer, then feel free to let me know. How is your daily schedule like roughly on a weekday? Yeah, I mean, it really changes. Let me switch this back. Yeah, it really changes. But for the most part, like I'm totally freelance and I'm working on writing scripts and working on videos and like the shorts and stuff, like, you know, sifting through the previous streams. So yeah, most of my day is spent on, you know, working on content, you know, even though it doesn't look like it because my upload time is like atrocious, but it's because I really put in a lot of time into like the script and doing all the background research. Like this video that I am working on currently is like how to learn Japanese from literally 0 to native natural level Japanese, and like every stage of the way, what you should know, what resources there are, and like you got to think about a lot of things when you're like making a huge video like that. Like, of course you need to write the script itself, but you also have to know, okay, like what do I recommend? Like what is the right order? And I have to like really look back and think, hey, how I studied and what I would do differently. Okay, I would probably study in this order. And while I'm thinking about the order, okay, you know, I used these resources, but you know, some of them were good, like the Japanese study kanji app, but you know, some of them were kind of like, okay, and I wish there was a resource that did this. And then, so I'll research into Japanese resources, even though I don't need to use them anymore for the most part. I'll research and I'll like read Reddit forums and I'll like test them out myself. Like I tested out Duolingo and Lingo Deer, and like I'm just like going through them all. Okay, which ones are actually worth recommending to my viewers? And like I go through all the resources you could ever consider or use, and then YouTube channels that like are good practice, and then I have to like phrase it all in like an engaging way. So even just like the script writing, it takes a long time, like for me to like make a good thoughtful piece of video. And then of course there's the editing, and I'm sure if you guys have seen my videos, you know that I'm a perfectionist and I like to make the edit very clean. Like look at this intro right here. Look at this. I mean, it's on a small screen, but you know, even I had to go out and film me hugging a freaking vending machine just for like a 2-second gag in the intro. And then I made this graphic, like 97% of Japan is Japanese people. And then, you know, the zoom in, the card and all that. You know, of course the intro is going to have the most amount of edit because it's like the most engaging. But like, you know, I like to do that for like the entire video. Like you can see, like I'm still doing here. Like this is all like heavy editing. And, you know, you could argue I don't need to do it, but I really like to make the videos as concise and engaging to watch as possible for you guys. So it's something I'm trying to balance still, like my perfectionism and high quality, but you know, efficiency and uploading more often. So we're working on it, but appreciate your patience in the meantime. So yeah, my daily schedule, back to your question, it's basically like I just wake up and I'm working on like my videos, whether it's script writing or editing or whatever. And I'll usually like go out, eat lunch at a place nearby my place because it's a good way to get out because I'm always like at my computer editing or writing a script. And I'll go to the gym for a break as well, maybe like come back, do the editing and whatever at home again. And then I'll just maybe like have dinner either here or like with friends and hang out at night. Maybe just chill at the like last couple hours of night, that kind of stuff. Pretty chill. If I sign up on your website, will you steal my Gmail info? I don't have a website, so you don't need to worry about that. Yeah, thank you, Rip Rover. 100%. And yeah, just like Rip Rover said, yeah, it's Kyotaro. Yeah, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. Please put them in the Q&A and not in the chat. Appreciate you helping pseudo mod Rip Rover. And how do I learn the editing? Just trial and error, and watching like a bunch of editing tutorials. And happy birthday, everything anime lover. Birthday tomorrow. That's awesome. Hope you have a fun plan for tomorrow. And I hope you have a happy birthday. Let me try refreshing my inbox here. See if we have any new questions. Okay, next question. Is Google Maps good for navigation in Japan? Yes, okay. First of all, my face on the small screen is distracting me. Is Google Maps good for navigation in Japan? Yes, it is. Yeah. It's not like Korea or China. Like in Korea, Google Maps is banned. And in China, Google Maps is banned. So yeah, it's not like those countries. Google Maps is the main navigation app for Japan, and it's totally, yeah, it's great. I use it every day. It's good for finding restaurants, good for finding stores, for getting to stations. It has all the train times there. It's never really like let me down. There is a Yahoo transportation app as well. Yahoo Transportation Japan. This one here. Dosen Jouhou. And I have this also downloaded on my phone because it has a little bit more information than Google. Like if I'm trying to take the Shinkansen from like say Osaka to Tokyo, you know, the Shinkansen, like, hey, Osaka is west of Tokyo, right? So say Google Maps. If we go on Google Maps here. Okay, I don't know what the best way to do this is. Let's do a map of Japan. Okay, give me a big picture, please. Big picture. Open image in a new tab. That's the one we want. Okay. So like say like, okay, Osaka's like here. I'll make that bigger for you guys. So like Osaka is like here in the middle. And I'm taking the Shinkansen to Tokyo. The Shinkansen also comes further west, like down here in Kyushu from Fukuoka. So there's Shinkansens that come all the way from Fukuoka through Osaka to Tokyo. And there's Shinkansen that come from Osaka to Tokyo, like starts in Osaka and goes to Tokyo. And if you're going at a busy time and you don't reserve a seat, you just use your unreserved seats, you want to get on a Shinkansen that starts in Osaka. Because if you get it when it's starting in Osaka, it'll be empty, right? Like you have to line up and whoever lines up in front of you will get on the Shinkansen first. But there's a lot of seats on a Shinkansen and it'll only fill up like after it stops in like Kyoto and then Nagoya, and then it'll be like full up until Tokyo. But if you get on a Shinkansen like bullet train that's coming from Fukuoka and it's going to Tokyo during a busy period, there's a good chance that it's already full by the time it comes to Osaka. And then you're just like screwed if you don't have a reserved seat and you have to stand the whole time. So that's like one of the like niche times that this Yahoo app is better than Google Maps, because it'll say if that Shinkansen that you're going for is departing from Osaka, and if not, you can look for the next one or the one before it, and then it'll be like, okay, yeah, this one is departing from Osaka. But that being said, like Google Maps is still good for like 99% of cases. The only other time I would say you would want to use something else is if you're looking for specific restaurants, you just want more selection of restaurants. This app right here, Taberogu, is one of the most popular ones in Japan. For the most part, I'd say most restaurants are on Google Maps and have reviews, but Taberogu, I think, still has more. Like Taberogu was probably the original app in Japan before Google Maps came. So there's still like a lot of more restaurants, especially smaller ones, that are on Taberogu, and they'll have better pictures on there as well, like professionally taking pictures. Whereas Google Maps is usually just like, you know, people who take pictures and post it onto Google Maps. So that's another niche case where if you want like a full selection, Taberogu is a better app. But again, for, you know, most purposes, Google Maps is enough. Oh, technical cookie, you're talking about the Marshmallow. Yeah, I mean, it's not my website. I don't think they're going to steal your Gmail. You'll be fine. And why did I choose Osaka over Tokyo? Yeah, great question. It's I like the vibe in Osaka. It feels friendlier. Like Osaka is known for, you know, owarai, or like comedy. Like it is the comedy central in Japan. Like all the famous comedians, well, most of them have like a Kansai accent, and they're from Kansai. And it just has that culture of being like more laid back, not as uptight, and you can talk to people a little bit more impromptu. Whereas Tokyo, it's more like stay in your lane. You know, I'm just here to work my 9 to 5. And by 9 to 5, I mean like 8 to 9. Like you're working hella hours. But I'm just here to get on the train, go to my job, get back, make food at home, and then go back on the train to get to work. And it's a little bit more like cold in that sense. Of course, that's not everyone in Tokyo, but that is kind of like the general stereotype, and it is kind of true as well. So I like the more laid back feel of Osaka, and it's still a big city, so I still have access to, you know, bars and restaurants and whatever else I want to do. And it's very central in Japan. Like if, you know, if you're looking at this map again, like, you know, it's in the center part, whereas Tokyo is very much on the east side of Japan. That's why the word east is literally in Tokyo. I don't know if you can see my mouse a little bit. Yeah, Tokyo's on the east side, whereas Osaka's here in the middle. So you can get to Kyoto in like 30 minutes. You can get to Kobe in 30 minutes. You can get to Fukuoka in like a couple hours. You can get to Tokyo in a couple hours. You can get to Wakayama. They're like, it's very central. It's very convenient in that sense as well. It's another reason why I picked it. And I just also happen to have a lot of friends in Osaka before I even moved to Japan as well. Yeah. But I mean, if you're looking for like the most job opportunities, like Tokyo is the best, of course, as it has everything. It is the major city in Japan. It'll have every event you'd ever want to go to, every concert, every cool cafe. Like that's the place to be. But I also like a little bit of like a laid back chill vibe as well. So that's why I chose Osaka. How much do you notice Japanese people following Western international trends? Western international trends. I mean, honestly, I'd say it's almost pretty separate. For the most part, Japan has like their own sphere of influence. Like, you know, they have their own celebrities, actors, singers. And, you know, what they do really like heavily influences trends and like buzzwords and all that. You know, occasionally there'll be like an international like Instagram trend. Like there'll be a trending song with a trending dance, and Japanese people will do it too. Like I've seen those as well. But for the most part, I'd say they have their own memes and their own buzzwords, their own pop culture. So I'd say it's for the most part independent. You should make a video day in life and room tour. Yeah, I've gotten that question or comments before as well. And I mean, like, my apartment looks like big from this angle, but it's really not that big. Like, what you're seeing right now is like 80% of my apartment, so the video would be over pretty quickly. So I'd have to like incorporate other things into the video to like make it like a real full-length video. Maybe like a full day in the life one. Yeah, that could be a good idea. It's definitely like on my idea list of videos, day in the life. And then maybe pair it with a room tour. Could be a thing. Thanks for the comment. Okay. What do you watch on Japanese television at home? Do you have any Japanese drama or variety reality show recommendations? Wants to know what other Japanese media content there is besides anime. Yeah, great question. Like, when you're studying Japanese, like, you of course want to get that Japanese content in just for practice, and you know, anime is the first thing you think of, but sometimes, like, I love anime, but sometimes you just want to try something else for a second. And I do have a Japanese show recommendation. My favorite Japanese show of all time, might even be my favorite show of all time, mayhaps. It's called Alice in Borderland. Yeah, this is a banger. It's a little dark. It's like dark action thriller, mind games kind of genre. So it's not like your typical love comedy stuff if you love that K-pop or K-drama, you know, rom-com stuff. But you know, if you like thrillers and like psychological thriller, dark, you know, drama, I really recommend Alice in Borderland. It is so fun. They're basically like trapped in like a different world. It's still Tokyo, but it's like empty, and they have to like play these games to like survive because they have a visa, and if their visa runs out of days, then they just get killed. So they have to play games to like extend their visa, and they're trying to figure out like, why is Tokyo empty now, and how did I get here, and like, you know, why are we playing these games? It's like a really cool psychological thriller, and I love games and I love thinking, and it's Japanese, so it's just like 10 out of 10 for me. So if you like that kind of stuff, I'd recommend that show. I don't really watch Japanese TV, like variety shows. Yeah, sometimes they're on at my local gym, and I'll like peek at them for a little bit, and you know, they're funny and charming in their own way, but I never got into them that much because, you know, they're a little bit silly, over the top, and they're just kind of like lots of sponsors in there, and they'll be like going to this restaurant and be like, oh my god, it tastes so good, and the reactions are over the top, which, you know, for me gets a little bit tiring, but I get why they do it. But yeah, I prefer watching like, say, these dramas on Netflix or anime. Yeah, so this would be my number one recommendation. Another one that I also liked is, what is it called? Final Draft, I think. Yeah, Final Draft. That's what it's called. It's basically like Physical 100. If you've seen that, that's like the Korean version. That's like their main version. This is like the Japanese version of that, where they have like retired / semi-retired athletes, like in their like 30s or 40s, who are still very fit, but like they're like basically moved on from their prime, and they have them compete in a physical competition that's like kind of tournament style, and they figure out who's like the best, as a way to, like, your final draft, like your final comeback from retirement, essentially. I found this one really interesting too. It's like more competitive, lighthearted, more lighthearted than Alice in Borderland. And I'm trying to think of a rom-com, because people love rom-coms, right? Okay, wait, another one before I move on to the rom-com. I have two more and then I'm done. What is it? I think it's like Tokyo Swindlers is the English name. Yeah, Tokyo Swindlers. This is a good one. Again, it's kind of dark, very serious mood, but it was very popular in Japan. So consider checking that one out as well. It's about like real estate swindlers and like the whole world. It's like, and all like the underworld of it, essentially. That's pretty good. And if you want like a lighthearted rom-com, maybe Nigehaji. The Full-Time Wife Escapist. This was one of the first dramas I watched. Yeah, it's got like a famous actress, Gakki. It's the female lead right here, Gakki. Oh, sorry, I have my my screen on small. But yeah, full-time wife escapist. Gaki is lead actress, and then the male lead, what's his name again? He's a famous like singer as well. Hoshino Gen, I think. And it's a cute rom-com. So Tokyo Swindlers, in case you couldn't see. So Tokyo Swindlers, Final Draft, and then Alice in Borderland. That would be my top recommendation. Those are the shows I like. And a little delayed, but Agla, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate the support. Enjoy your emotes. And now we're only a few more away from adding our next emote. So thank you for the support. Alice in Borderland is so good. Yeah, I appreciate. I'm glad you agree. ... It's really good. A tactical cookie. I've seen Alice in Borderland after episode 3. I cried a bit and never watched it after that. I don't remember what specifically happens in episode 3. Okay, now I think I remember. Yeah. It gets dark for sure and sad at times, but it's so good. It's so dramatic, and like I love the mind games. Ooh, what's your gym routine? Upper body, lower body, upper body, 3 times a week. You know, don't skip leg day, but we do lower the priority of leg day. A little bit older, but Orange Days was good. My other friend also likes that too, Nora. Orange Days. Yeah, from 2004, so a bit of an oldie. But yeah, my friend also liked this as well. I think it almost looks like Japanese Friends. I've never seen this before, but I know it's popular. So that's another recommendation you can check out if you don't mind watching the oldie but goodies. Another oldie but goodie is also Hanadang. Hanayori Dango. This is a good one as well. Boys Over Flowers. Yeah, oldie but a goodie. It has a lot of like cultural references. Cultural references even in like today's Japanese society. So it was a very impactful drama back in its day. I think, yeah, it says 2005 here. So that's another oldie but goodie. It's a rom-com as well, so lighthearted. Oh my god, Nigahaji, love that show so much. Glad you like it too. I haven't seen season 2. I watched season 1 basically when it came out, and then season 2 took a few years to come out, so I haven't actually seen season 2 yet. Let me know if it's worth watching. Oh, they got married in real life? I think I knew that actually. Yeah, that also blows my mind. That's really cute. That's just like Crash Landing on You, right? That's adorable. That is really adorable. So I've seen Tokyo Swindler too. I think it's good. Don't think the new season has come out. Yeah, I think when I watched it, it was only season 1. Yeah. I think it's only 1 season as far as I know. Alice in Borderland is so peak. Yes, Nightcore Kovu. You know, it is so peak. Hey, I'm late. My brother got his driving license. Nubis, what is up? Thanks. I'm glad you could join us, whether you're late or not. Always nice seeing your name in chat. Appreciate your support all the time. All right. Okay, I'll try to answer the questions in the Q&A section for the people who put their questions in here. So what do people think of trans people? And I'm sick and waited since 1 a.m. since. I think, yeah, I remember seeing your message in chat about waiting since 1 a.m. for this to start. So thank you for waiting, and thank you for staying up till like 6 in the morning to watch this. Truly a nocturnal person. I talk about this. You can actually see, I mentioned this in a previous stream, and I actually made a short about it, about LGBTQ. Yeah, there are trans people in Japanese media. Like, one of them is Matsuko Deluxe. Matsuko Deluxe. Yeah. Yeah, so I think they're trans, as far as I know. and they're very famous. Like they were like on TV even when I first came to Japan. Like that's when I first heard of them, when I was like, you know, when I came to Japan like 11, 12 years ago, and they were on TV, and they're still like relevant today. And I think, as far as I know, they're like loved by the public as well. So clearly, like there are trans people in Japan that are, you know, they're obviously loved and shown on the media. So it's not like taboo in that sense. But like I mentioned in my previous stream, like I think there still is a lot of pressure for people to hide it because Japan has such a culture around fitting in, right? The nail that sticks in gets hammered. So even though I think there is a space for you to clearly thrive as a trans person, which is great, I think some people still individually feel the need to like keep it in. And maybe some parents or relatives, you know, if they found out that their child was trans, they'd be like, hey, like, it's just a phase, like, get through it. I'm just assuming right now, but I have seen this kind of thought process for like other kinds, like mental health, that like sometimes like the parents or relatives like just like to keep it under the wraps, you know, and just be like, just fit in, please. So I think it's both. Like there's a space for you to be trans and express it, especially if you're comfortable with it, but there's also still pressure in Japan to hide it to an extent. But I think that's all depends on individual case. But if you're trans, or if like someone who you know is trans and they're thinking about coming to Japan, then I'd say they could definitely do it, you know, as long as they're comfortable, and they could help break the mold too, alongside Matsuko Deluxe. If they're trans, I'm assuming they are. Stream is going to 11 p.m. Nubis. Yes, and Nubspider, thank you for answering the question. Yeah, time doesn't matter. I heard international driving license doesn't accept in Japan. Which driving license accepts in Japan? So it's actually depends on the country. So Japan, because I'm Canadian and I have like a Canadian driver's license, I didn't need to take an additional test. I just had to go to the driving center in Osaka, wait for like 7 hours because it's freaking hell in there and there's just like really bad at efficiency. But I just had to show that I had a driver's license. I had to like print off some like forms essentially supporting that I'd gotten my driver's license and I'd been driving for a few years. It's really weird. They require some really weird stuff, but because I'm Canadian and they accept Canadian licenses, I got a Japanese driver's license just automatically. I think the US, for some reason, it's state dependent. So if you're from a certain state, then you can just switch it over. If you're from another state, you have to take a driving test. I don't know why. Maybe they think some states are a little bit loose with their driving restrictions. And then countries are like on that basis as well. But I think if you're British, again, you can just switch over your driving license just like that. But other countries, you might need to take a test to requalify. Depends. All right, we got a long question out here. It's just filling up the chat box. I'll try to read it so you guys can know what I'm talking about here. So, how about you guys could kind of see it. Actually, maybe you can't, because I think it cuts out a little bit. Why don't I paste it? I'm like here. We got a long one. Okay, hi, name. My partner and I are seriously planning whether Japan could be a realistic... Why is my name in brackets? This is written by ChatGPT. Are seriously planning whether Japan could be a realistic long-term move for us. I'm studying nutrition and exercise science, have PT, health monitoring, counseling skills, etc. I plan to do masters in clinical nutrition. I also want to build an online PT health wellness company offering exercise guidance, lifestyle support, nutritional check-in. My partner has psychology background, blah, blah, blah. Could this type of lifestyle work in Japan if we rented first, learning Japanese seriously and built income through online services or educational well-being roles? How realistic is it for foreigners to later get mortgage or loan pay? House, Akia, rural life, integration, visas, whatever. So yes, that is, yeah, a huge ass question. So first of all, you should watch my video on how to move to Japan. I'll talk about like visas there. Yeah, I mean, of course, like you and your partner seem to be highly skilled. So, I mean, there's definitely like demand for, you know, that kind of expertise as far as I would know. The thing is, if you want to get a visa in Japan, you probably have to use a work visa. It's going to be hard to just come as an entrepreneur unless you're making like a lot of money with your business and you can like open a branch in Japan and hire a Japanese employee. Then you can do the business management visa if you pay a lot of money or have a lot of capital in your business. Otherwise, you're going to have to work for a company and get a work visa that way. And in that case, you'd probably need to speak Japanese unless the company is willing to just have you as an English speaker. So yeah, definitely learn Japanese seriously. Ideally, as much as you can before you move. Again, I talk about this in the video. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I could add right now. But yeah. In terms of like loans and stuff, yeah, I mean, if you can get a loan as a foreigner to buy a house, but in terms of like Akia countryside, I mean, I'm not an expert in that sense, so yeah, you might need to do some more research on that in particular. But yeah, watch my video to get some of the more basics for sure, and good luck with your planning. Definitely exciting. Okay, question that fits on the screen. Crazy that they wrote my name as name in brackets. Like, come on, you're doing me dirty. Write my name. Hello, Tokuyuu, Toku. Either is fine. Or just hey. Name in brackets is wild, bro. Anyways, was it hard to adjust to a new life in Japan? Like where to buy food, where to go get your clothes washed, and subtle stuff like that, which you never really talk about. Yeah, good question. So the little things that you don't really think about when you move to a new country. Yeah, it took time to get adjusted. I mean, you know, it's just like, say if you lived in like a city your whole life with your parents or your caregiver, and then say you move to a new town, you know, to live on your own. It's the same kind of struggles, right? Like when you get a new place, you don't realize that your parents' house has like so many things. Like it has cutlery, it has furniture, it has a TV, it has like, you know, monitors, it has chairs, you know, it has a hammer, a screwdriver. Like there's so many little things that you need in life that you don't realize that you just like took for granted living at your parents' house. So yeah, having to like live with literally nothing, an empty apartment, and start building it up from nothing was difficult. Sorry, I keep bumping the mic. Your questions got me passionate. But yeah, it was difficult, like getting those all sorted out. And then yeah, like, you know, figuring out what the supermarket is and like how to like cook my food really for the first time, and like how to plan meals, and yeah, all the little stuff, where to wash my clothes. Like thankfully I bought a washing machine to use in my house. And fun fact, like washing machines in Japan, you can buy ones that are both a washing machine and a dryer built in one. That blew my mind. You just put your clothes in, put it on cycle, it'll clean it, dry it, and you take it out and it's all dry and clean. Don't need to move it over. That's awesome. So yeah, that was easy. So I didn't need to go to a laundromat or anything. But yeah, it is a challenge. And then of course, like, you know, with our, you know, example of like, it's just like moving to a new city in your home country. But then yeah, you make it in Japan, and now you have to do all that in a second language, right? So you have to order furniture in a second language and figure out what stores you need to order, you know, furniture from in Japan. And okay, food in Japan. Okay, the supermarket sells kind of different food. Okay, what can I make here that I, you know, maybe wouldn't make in Canada or can't buy back in Canada, you know? So yeah, it adds an extra layer of difficulty even for those like small things. So it definitely takes a long time to adjust, you know, relatively speaking. It's like, you know, a few weeks, maybe a couple months really. and you'll just like slowly get more and more accustomed. But yeah, it takes some time to get adjusted, and you'll feel really busy at first, especially if you're working or like studying full time when you just move here. But yeah, I mean, you get used to it. But of course, it was a challenge at first. All part of the process. That's a long one. Can give me hope for my question being answered. Yeah, Rip Rover, maybe I'll find yours in here. No guarantees, but I try to get through as many as I can. And yeah, Nub Spider, yeah, thank you. Yeah, let them know, and maybe they can answer it in the chat too. And Canoe, glad you like the stream window style and that you think it's cozy. That's what I aim for. Where is my setup? Like my computer setup? It's right in front of me, but you can't see it on your camera angle. And food delivery services, are they common here? Very boring name. What is up? Yeah, they are common here. Uber Eats is a thing here, and I order it sometimes when I'm feeling lazy. And they have, I don't think they have DoorDash, but they have like other, you know, equivalents, like Japanese equivalents. So yeah, it is common. I think I once saw a food delivery in the morning. Like it was like 9 a.m. or whenever I got up to like go to work. Maybe it was like 8 or 7 a.m. I was like riding the elevator down from my apartments, and I saw a guy from Uber Eats had just finished a delivery at like 7, 8 a.m. I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, did someone order food like for breakfast? Like what? Why? And then he's just like, yeah, I mean, they're just ordering food because they've been partying the whole night and drinking. So it's like, okay, so they didn't order breakfast. They've just been staying up and drinking and chatting all night. And they just want like basically second dinner. Like they probably got like some ramen or like fried chicken just to like keep them going. I'm like, that's insane. But yeah, food delivery services are common here. Can you suggest me how to apply to Japanese universities and any agency in India? I'm guessing like how to apply to universities from India, something like that. Unfortunately, I'm not an expert on that because I never attended university in Japan. So that's something you're gonna have to ask someone else who has done that. But I have seen Indian YouTubers like showing their life in their Japanese university. So maybe check them out. And they've probably made a video on it. So especially an India specific one, definitely look into that. My questions every time at the end, because my dumbass like at the end of the stream, oh, it's a good time to send it. yeah, can definitely get buried at the end that way, but easy to forget. And as long as you're vibing and you're having a good time. And no, you don't tip people for food delivery here. You don't tip in general in here, like in Japan, which is great. And Darsh, glad you like the background. Someone else asked for a home tour as well. Maybe we'll do it one day. How far do you see yourself doing YouTube? I really enjoy your content, and I think you could be the next generations abroad in Japan. Thank you so much, whoever sent this. 10 out of 10 question and comment. Yeah, I really love doing YouTube and content. So how far do I see myself doing it? As far as I need to. Like, I really enjoy what I do. Like, I love that I have ideas on like how to live in Japan, or like funny things I see here, or what people can do to like better move here or better live their lives here, or how I learn Japanese and other people are trying to learn how I could teach them. You know, like I love having ideas that I want to share with people and having a platform to share it. Like I really love that. And I know that as I live through Japan longer and longer, there's just going to be more things that I want to share with you guys. And I love the art style of doing it too, like planning a video, making it engaging, and trying to like, you know, share it with you guys. So yeah, I really enjoy it. And, you know, I love the lifestyle. Like I like, you know, working on my videos and the freedom to work my hours. So yeah, I can really see myself doing it for a long time. And, you know, as long as you guys are enjoying the videos and the streams and everything, then I'm going to keep doing them. And thank you so much for saying I could be the next generations abroad in Japan. That's definitely an honor, because I mean, I don't plan on usurping Chris Broad anytime soon or ever, because he is the GOAT. Like, he is who I watched right when I started learning Japanese, like over 10 years ago. And like, yeah, he makes some awesome videos, and his quality has only gotten better and better. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to be like, you know, up there one day. Maybe not necessarily as big as him, but you know, in that same sphere. That'd be amazing. So I'm gonna work on it, and hopefully we can get there one day, and then I can make more great videos, maybe hire more people to help me like expedite my video making process, and I can like share more content with you guys, and I can do more collabs and like, you know, more interesting streams and all that stuff. So, you know, hopefully you guys can stick around for the journey, and we can see how this channel grows. But yeah, thank you so much for the lovely comment. I really appreciate that. Kyung. I keep a beard for religious reasons. Is that a problem for working in Japan? I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, in my workplace, there are people with beards. That wasn't a problem. It was like a foreign-based company in Japan, so it was a little bit more open. But yeah, I mean, if you're a foreigner and you have religious reasons, I think even like traditional companies, for the most part, will understand and allow it. Yeah, maybe for like really traditional conservative companies, there'd be an issue, but for the most part, I think it'd be okay. Also, Toku, you know, we would love to have a new long form video with something planned. Yes, I mentioned earlier while you were, you know, with the I think, was it your brother getting their driver's license? I have a new video coming up, and I'm just waiting for the sponsor to get back to me with some materials, then I can make the insert, and then that video is all done and ready to go. And I'm already working on the next video after that. So yes, there are new long videos planned. Appreciate the patience. All right, and let's refresh our inbox. Oops. Okay, sorry, one sec. I had to reopen the Q&A. It pooped its pants, unfortunately. So I'll just refresh that and find the question that I found. There it is. Boom, boom. Thank you for your work, man. I really like it. Thank you for watching my work. I have a kind of bad relationship with insects. That's relatable. But I'm thinking about Japan as a country to live in after uni. Can you please tell me if there are a lot of insects in northern Japan, or if I live in a modern building, will there be no creepy insects? Yeah. So, I mean, I live in a big city in, well, a modern apartment, to be fair. And I have basically never seen an insect. Like, I've maybe seen like one spider in like my apartment in my 4 years of living in Japan, and it was like a teeny tiny spider. And yeah, that's basically the extent of seeing insects here. I saw a mosquito in here the other day, but that's because my mom was here and she likes opening all the windows and doors. It's like, you need fresh air, let's open the windows. I'm like, the classic parent move. You need fresh air, opens all the windows. There's no screens on my doors and windows, of course, so there's just like open air. Luckily, I'm high up, so like insects don't usually come up this high, but I did see a mosquito and like a couple other insects, like, you know, really small, like flying ones after a while. But for the most part, it's not an issue. And if I had a screen door, I don't know why my apartment doesn't have a screen door, but if I had a screen door, then it wouldn't be an issue whatsoever. If you live in the countryside, then insects can be a problem, especially if you live on like the first floor, you know, second floor apartment, like surrounded by nature, you'll have more insects. Northern Japan, again, it just depends if you're in a city or not, for the most part. If you're in like a developed area higher up, then I don't think you'll have as many issues with insects. Okay, what Japanese celebrities do Japanese people listen to? What kind of songs do they listen to? Each time I listen to a Japanese song, I found out that it's an anime opening, and I say to myself, they probably don't listen to anime openings only. What kind of idols do they listen to? Anubis, thank you for the gifted membership. Appreciate your love and support always. Thank you. Appreciate your kind words as well that you left a comment before. And congratulations to Artfultism for the gifted membership from Nubis. Enjoy your emotes. So what do Japanese people listen to? I mean, it really depends on the Japanese person. Yeah, like of course they're not just always listening to like anime openings. Japan top artists 2026. I mean, a lot of them actually do, like a lot of the top artists do anime like openings or songs. Like Yonezu Kenshi is a very popular one. He made the song Lemon, if you've heard of that. And he also has done songs for animes. Like I think he wrote one for My Hero Academia. And then Ado is another popular one. Fuji Kaze, you know, Yoasobi. I'm sure you've, like, if you know anything about Japanese music, you've heard of these ones. Mrs. Green Apple as well. Creepy Nuts. Creepy Nuts, you'll know, probably. Made, what is it called? Bling Blang, Bling Bling Blang Boom. I don't know what the song name is, but you probably know by hearing me say that. It's like the ones like bling bum bum bling bum bum bling bum bum bong. And like that's the opening for Marshmallow, the anime, but it just became very popular on its own. And they just make music like bangers in general that Japanese people listen to. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the artists that make songs for animes are also just some of the most successful artists in Japan. And the anime creators just ask these successful artists to make songs for them because they know that they're going to be bangers and that their fans are going to listen to it and probably watch their anime because they've made that song. So honestly, anime can be a good way to find new artists. And then you just look at that artist's other songs and you're like, oh, okay, so these are other songs that they make. Yeah. Higedandism, yeah, that's another good one for sure. Pijun. So Hige, I'll write it in English. Higedandism. Official Higedandism. Yeah, another classic one. The singer goes so high with his notes, it's crazy. I think one of his famous songs is Pretender. That's what it's called. Pretender. Yeah, another banger. Back Number, another classic. What Japanese song do I like lately? Lately, I've been listening to a lot of Bansanka. I really like Bansanka. It's by the artist named Tuki. Tuki, if you can, I can try to increase the font here. Tuki. I think her name is pronounced Tsuki in Japanese. Tsuki, because there's no tu sound, but I don't know. Just stylistically, it's Tuki. But yeah, this song is a banger. I think it was released a year or two ago, maybe. No, released 2025, so last year. So quite a recent song. And it's a freaking banger. Yeah, like the melody's amazing. The chorus is amazing. The words are awesome. Again, if you know Japanese, you can appreciate the words and lyrics better. I love it. She basically like compares love to like a feast, essentially. And she's just like saying like, oh, if you like eat the same thing over and over again, you kind of get tired of it. Kind of like in love, if you're like dating the same person over and over again, like you've been dating them for a while, it can get boring. And then she's like, just human nature, you just get bored of things. But then she's like, but I want that kind of love that like lasts forever. And like, please give me like the feast of like a lifetime, essentially. A very sweet story and just banging music to go with it. And the singer / I think writer, she's in middle school. Like if you listen to the song, you would not think that she's in middle school. Like her voice and control and like the contents of the song are just like so banging and like mature. And she's a freaking middle schooler. Japan is on a different level. But yeah, if you haven't checked out the song, definitely check it out. I'm obsessed with it. Yo, I heard one of her songs. Yeah, that's this song. It is this song, Pijun. That is this song. It's a banger. I love it. Yeah, so definitely if you haven't checked out the song, check it out. Yeah, exactly, Pijun. That's the lyric. Yeah, 人間だからね、たまには違うものを食べたいな. The lyrics are so good. Because I'm a human, sometimes I want to eat something different. And then how the story progresses, it's just amazing. You're on that, Pijun. Love to see that. Skill level's insane. Yeah, no, we're getting there. We're getting there. Sing the song, man. Your voice is so good, bro. I was singing this in karaoke literally yesterday. It's a high ass song, bro. Like, this is a female singer and it is a high female song. Like, it goes very high. I still love singing it. I love sending my voice into the shadow realm after I sing this, but like, it's so satisfying. And maybe once I practice a bit more, I'll have the confidence to sing it on stream live. Maybe that could be a future live stream as well. We could do like a little karaoke night. But yeah, I'm actually going to like singing lessons in Japan as well. So I'm working on getting better and better. So maybe at some point I can get to a point where I can like take your recommendations or your song requests and I can sing it for you guys. But right now I'm really not on that level. Like, if I want to sing a song half good, I really need to practice it. So taking song requests, it's just like, you're gonna hate how your song sounds. So maybe one day we can do that. Yeah. Toku, please sing. Appreciate that. Appreciate you guys. Do you have a Discord? No, well, I'm thinking about making a Discord soon, so be sure to check that out. No, sing now. I don't know if I can do that for you, man. Please sing California Girls. Get out of here, Californians. Dun, 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 dun. Katy Perry, right? That's funny. Prediction of the 16th stream structure: 55-minute language, 55-minute life, 10-minute song. That we could get like 3 songs in there if we're efficient. Probably 2. Yeah, maybe. California Girls is hilarious. Yeah, one day we'll get that. I'll sing Bansanko for you guys one day. It's very high though. Maybe also when it's not like 11 p.m. in Japan and my neighbors are gonna fucking hate me. Okay, let's try to answer a few more questions before we wrap up. Are there any things you need to do once you move to Japan that you didn't mention in your how-to video? I mean, I mentioned most of the things there. I would say, yeah, the biggest thing is just like continue to learn Japanese and work on making a community. Like I mentioned those in the video. Like we were talking a little bit earlier, like it does take a lot of setup as well, like the little things that you don't really talk about. You know, figuring out where to buy food, you know, what to cook, where to wash your clothes. Yeah, there are things like you got to figure out in that sense, but again, it's just like figuring it out when you move to any new place, even if it's not a different country. It being a different country and language just kind of adds an extra hurdle that you have to really figure out something new. But yeah, for the most part, like you'll figure out what you need to know. Like you'll come here and be like, oh, I don't have any forks. I gotta buy forks. Or like, oh, I need a measuring tape. I'm gonna buy measuring tape. Or like, I would really like a service where they come in and clean my home. Okay, maybe like, hey, what kind of like maid services are in Japan? You know, it'll come to you as you find the necessity to do it. So, I mean, I could go on and list things, but for the most part, like I put all the essentials in that video. So everything else, it'll just come to you. And did I eat food? It's already past 11 p.m. Yes, I had dinner before streaming. I always try to eat before I stream, or else, yeah, it's really going to be late for my food. Joining the stream late, but are there any super reliable job sites you know to work in Japan? Reliable job sites? I'm not sure what you mean by reliable job sites. Like job fields that like are always hiring kind of thing. I mean, English teacher. They're always hiring English teachers. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could go on and on. I mean, I'm not an expert on like Japanese hiring or anything, but you know, there's always a lot of IT jobs, you know, engineers, software engineers, you know, machinery. Like they're really trying to like get going on automated production. So if you're in like machine engineering, I'm sure they'll love you. But essentially, like if you know Japanese and English, that's a huge skill set to have. And they'll almost always be hiring in whatever field just because you speak Japanese and English fluently. So if you want a reliable way to get a job, it's working on your Japanese. But yeah, let's chill in the chat for a little bit. It's 11 p.m. so I'll wrap up the stream soon, but let's chill in the chat for a little bit. And we have a hello 777 in the chat. That profile picture looks pretty familiar to me. Thanks for dropping by. Any advice for dating in Japan? Rip Rover following up, are you dating or single? I am currently a single man. Yeah, so I'm single. Any advice for dating in Japan? I mean, for the most part, dating is dating, right? My advice for dating in general is just to like work on yourself instead of finding like the perfect partner. Just work on yourself and building a life that you like and building yourself into a person that you respect. And then the right person will come along. You know, you can put in effort, of course, to find the person. You can do dating apps or like go to like socials and stuff. Like in Japan, they have kompa, I think is what it's called. Kompa. Maybe yeah, it's kompa. Okay, I didn't know that. It's short for company. But it's literally like a mixer. It's like an informal mixer where like you say there's like a guy has a friend with a girl. So he's like, okay, let's get together. Let's have dinner together. And I'll like invite a couple of my dude friends and you invite some of your girlfriends. And like, we'll just like have a mixer, like 3-on-3 or 4-on-4. And we'll like see what happens. And that's like a way to like meet, you know, people of the opposite sex in Japan. That's a pretty common way, I'd say, if you have like friends in that circle, or sometimes on Meetup, they'll have things like that as well. So that can be another way to meet people. But yeah, dating advice in general in Japan. Yeah, there's like a culture in Japan that you are dating after the third date. Like you go on a date, you go on a second date, and then on the third date, the guy like confesses, I guess is the best word, kogaku. He professes his like love for the girl on the third date and says like, will you date me? And then she says yes, and they're dating. But like, to me, that always blew my mind, because like dating sound, like being in a relationship with someone after like dating them only 3 times is like kind of crazy to me. Like, you don't know who a person is after 3 dates. Like that's crazy. Like, I could never date someone after 3 dates. But luckily, like, it's not a hard rule, especially like for foreigners as well. Like, I think Japanese people know that foreigners don't know this like culture. So I've never like professed my love after the third date. And I've never had any issues with that. So I'd say just be yourself on that. You know, do it at your own pace. Don't feel rushed. Any other advice? Japanese people can be a little slow to warm up, I'd say. Don't come on too strong, I'd say, for the most part. You know, give them time to open up and stuff as well. I think that's important. And learn the language. I think that's probably the biggest thing you could do. Of course, there's going to be cultural differences, but if you can speak the language to a good degree, then you'll be able to communicate and like talk out those differences and like learn about each other. And it'll be like a good learning process for both of you. Here, let me make my screen bigger here. If you can talk, you can communicate, then it'll be like a good learning experience for both of you. Because like, sure, there'll be more differences because you're from different cultures, but it'll also just kind of be like a lifetime of learning more about your significant other and like their culture and their point of view. But of course, like, to facilitate that communication and learning, like, you're gonna need to speak a mutual language. Like, if you're relying on them to speak English, you know, there are Japanese people who speak good English, but they're limited, and for the most part, they're not that good at English. So you know, if you're relying on their English and you have such a different culture, like there's going to be a lot of difficulties, I think, in most relationships. So my biggest advice for dating in Japan is to learn the language, really. And then you'll figure out the rest from there. As you live in Japan, you'll learn the culture better, etc., etc. This might be the longest stream. Yeah. Well, I mean, we haven't gone too far over the time, but we're getting there. Every time I see these dating messages, I'm like, good, I don't have to deal with that. Yeah, I mean, it's easier being single, for sure. Average Japanese body count? I don't know. I couldn't say. I think there are some YouTube videos where they go around asking people that, but I'm not sure. It is hard to say because a lot of Japanese people are like conservative on the surface, but that's not always like reflected in their body count. And then sometimes it is. So it's like, yeah, I think it really depends on the person. I've heard Japanese girls are not that much into foreigners. Is that true? No, I wouldn't say that's true. Depends. Like there are girls who are only interested in Japanese guys for sure. But there's also Japanese girls who are only interested in foreigners. I see a lot of posts on like Threads or Twitter and like whatever, like Japanese girls being like, I want to try dating a foreigner. Like, are there any foreigners out there willing to date me? Yeah, so I see more of the opposite in that sense. So I'd say you'd be okay. But again, I would recommend learning Japanese. Yeah, they ask that question in Shibuya in the evening. For sure, they do. For sure. And I'm a drag queen designer moving to Tokyo next year for language school. How can I avoid meiwako kakeru, like being a nuisance to others, when I barely fit in here in Australia? Yeah, I mean, Tokyo is great because that's probably like the most open-minded international city in Japan. So you'd probably best fit in there, I would say, if ever, and if anywhere in Japan. And I think there is a culture of drag queens in Japan. Like they have their own community, especially in Tokyo. So I'd find that community and kind of like see what they do and like where they hang out, and you could probably find your own little group there. And then, yeah, I wouldn't really worry about it too much. Yeah. There, especially in Tokyo, like you'll find your people. What is your current Japanese level? N1. Yeah, thank you, No Spider. Yeah. All right, I think we can start to wrap up here. We have gone 8 minutes over the scheduled stream time because I was having a fun time just chilling with you guys, chatting, seeing your messages, and talking. But it is that time, and I know I see you guys have some more questions, and they're definitely questions that I didn't answer in the Q&A yet, but we will be back again in 2 weeks' time. Don't you worry, as long as I don't pull my back again exactly in 2 weeks. But I have now exercises that I can do to strengthen, become more flexible so that doesn't happen again. So yeah, if you have questions and I didn't get to them, my apologies, but hopefully we can answer them again next time in 2 weeks' time. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching the stream for the whole 2 hours or 2 minutes, however long you decide to stay here for. Really appreciate you guys, and thank you for sending your support in the form of memberships or just being active in the chat, asking your questions, saying I'm going to be the next generations abroad in Japan. I really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, hopefully, yeah, I mean, we can make some more emotes next time. And yeah, and I'm looking forward to talking to you guys and always making the stream a little better. And maybe I can sing for you next time. I'll sing you guys Bansanka one time. I'll be sure to work on it so I can serenade you guys with my beautiful singing voice. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much. Signing out, and good luck with your Japanese studies or your planned moves to Japan or just anything in life. Wishing you guys the best, and I'll talk to you in 2 weeks. But for now, Tokuyuu out.